Hey guys, welcome. This is K-5 Mathematics Instructional Practice 2. And so today I want to talk about general and domain specific vocabulary, but really insert the emphasis of multiple opportunities for students to determine and experience the meanings of general and domain specific vocabulary and symbols in mathematics. So to get started, when I began thinking through how I would uh, talk about this, I began to think about the four practices, right? The practice one, we start with the PBO, right? And because I would be remiss if I just jumped right into practice two, assuming people understood practice one. But this visual tended to imply that maybe once I'm done with practice one, I move on to practice two. And once I'm in practice two and I'm finished there, I move into practice three. But yet we know that's not the case because even in practice three, where we're working with students on the I do's and we do's and then the pair do's, right? The gradual release is what we know it by. We often, because multiple opportunities, we need to refer back to practice two. So I tried to come up with a better visual. And I thought to myself, okay, well, here's practice one, and that's the PBO, right? And I'll talk to them about practice one. Then we can begin to get into practice two with the vocabulary. And then all of these are kind of touching. But then I was like, yeah, not so much. So let me just draw it out. And so I thought, practice one, right? It's the PBO, it's the instructional objective, it's the know something and do something. And then we move into the practice two, right? That's the multiple curriculum driven opportunities for students to experience and determine what the meaning of all these different vocabulary terms are and symbols in mathematics. And then we move into that practice three, again, which we know is the gradual release of responsibility, moving from students totally depending on us as teachers to help them to them doing it independently. And then I was reminded quickly, like, oh, yes, we need to refer back to practice one to make the connections, which then lends itself to looking at practice two, the multiple curriculum driven opportunities. That's plural, right? And so we need to keep revisiting that so that students can yet determine and experience. And the word experience just jumped out to me. It's like to encounter or undergo an event or an occurrence, which then has this implication of, hey, there needs to be something they're doing. And we know that to be practice four. That's that consistent use. That's that unwavering, everyday application of manipulatives so students can see the connections so they can experience it, right? And so even when we have that practice four rolling, there's this pointing back to the PBO that then takes us full circle back to practice two and yet another opportunity. And so as I thought through this process to really begin to unpack practice two, here we are with the PBO today. And so the PBO reads, teachers will be able to identify and recognize the four strategies embedded in instructional practice two in order to implement effective, general, and domain-specific vocabulary instruction and symbols in their classroom.